Welcome back to another exciting episode of Galea Kills Everything, your #1 rated daily weather program in Metropolis, where Galea kills everything. We're over here on the east side of Metropolis today at the North End Dam, and we're fighting the Metahuman experiment. It looks tough, folks. Now, our weather girl is out here dealing with him in the most obvious way possible, overwhelming violence. But there's a couple of things to point out about this fight that are going to make it mitigation heavy as well. We'll get to those things here in a moment. Metahuman Experiment's primary fighting style is hand blast, so he is somewhat counter susceptible, but he blocks a lot, which means if you're using lunge counters, keep your eyes open. The remainder of his fighting style is patterned off of mental. He does have a couple of basic beam attacks, a stun, and his most stunning attack, that's right folks, the elevator drop. He'll teleport you way up into the sky and then drop you off there and let Sir Isaac Newton do the work. This attack does damage constantly while you're plummeting back to the earth, and it provides you with no opportunities to really counter what he's doing as it's happening. The best way to deal with this is to make sure you have some shields for mitigation while you're falling, and to build some healing into your general loadout. That way you can keep up health to prevent you from dying when that happens. And it's gonna happen a lot. Well, here we are moving into the second segment of the fight here. At the halfway point of his health bar, he will hunker down in the middle of the dam inside of a telekinetic bubble, and it looks like he is bending a biscuit there, folks. Woof! Well, the best way to keep him from crapping on our dam here is to get rid of the defensive projections, and you can do that by attacking them over and over and over again. Now, it is a good idea to knock some of the healing projections back while this is taking place, because any of the healing projections that reach him will give him extra health, and we just don't want to see that happen, folks. Something else nice to note here is that bazookas have been set out gratis to the public by our local tourism board. If you want to try it out, give it a shout. And keep chopping away at those defensive projections. Once you kill all 4 of them, the shield will go away, and that will start the back half of the battle. He comes out. He's going to continue using his hand blaster attacks, but he has changed in one important way. His ability attacks are going to be a lot more representative of his fighting style for the back end of the battle, and that includes, you guessed it folks, lots and lots of elevator drops. This is where your mitigation is really going to shine, because you're going to want to have a shield to keep that from killing you pretty much instantly every single time it happens, and it's going to happen frequently, especially if you're fighting this battle solo. We also recommend an aggro drop. That way he'll start focusing his attentions on one of your sidekicks, your robot, mother box, literally anything but you. You don't want to be the one taking this damage. Go ahead and use that aggro drop. Send his attention elsewhere for a moment so you can punch him in the kidneys until he pees blood. Now, this is a Birds of Prey Metropolis bounty, so you can find this in the Tier 5 content. In addition to that, there are some feats associated with this bounty. Nothing too special, pretty standard stuff, but go out there and get you some of that skill point love. Another thing to note during this segment of the fight would be that, although this is early endgame and he is therefore easier than he used to be, he's still not exactly a slouch, though he's no competitor when it comes to our championship belt holder, the calculator bot, located on the opposite side. And as we draw things to a close, I am going to remind you that this bounty does have the relatively standard reward schedule that most other bounties of this class do. It is a weekly bounty, not a daily. You can obtain 8 marks and a box full of lovely keepsakes as a result of beating him in this fight. And another elevator drop there. As you can see, that's the reason why mitigation is so important in this fight, but it's also a good idea to focus on your DPS output, because you have a limited window of opportunity to kill him before he tries to kill you again. And I know it looks ridiculous, folks, but that elevator drop, surprisingly effective. Well, now that we've got them down on the ground, we're going to go ahead and get them bundled up to Stryker's Island so they can get them hosed off and fitted for a straitjacket. Thank you again for tuning in to Galea Kills Everything, your #1 rated show in Metropolis, where Galea kills everything. Good night.